Orange County Department of Education, Dr. Stefan Bean.
Thank you
so much for coming. Dr. Bean, before we get started, I'd love to just read a little bio for you. I know I have a long one and a short one, but I chose a mid-length.
Okay.
So Dr. Stefan Bean serves as Orange County Superintendent of Schools, guiding regional efforts to ensure every learner has the knowledge, skills, and opportunities to thrive. With nearly 30 years in education, he is known for building genuine connections and leading with heart. As County Superintendent, Dr. Bean leads Orange County Department of Education, which provides direct instruction to the county's most vulnerable students and critical support to 28 local school districts and more than 40 charter schools, serving hundreds of thousands of learners. Under his leadership, OCDE's work is anchored in the 531 strategic plan, emphasizing student success, service excellence, and shared leadership. Dr. B was unanimously appointed as Orange County's 12th Superintendent of Schools in June 2024 and was elected by Orange County voters in June 2026 to a full 4-year term. Before joining OCDE, Dr. Bean served as Superintendent for Aspire Public Schools in Los Angeles, where he oversaw 11 TK-12 campuses after advancing from principal to superintendent during nearly 12 years with the organization. He subsequently served as Executive Director of the Irvine International Academy. Again, welcome to Exhibition, Dr. Bean.
Thank you.
Where I thought we'd start today, if you don't mind, is who here really understands what the Orange County Department of Education oversees? Does everyone fully understand it? No?
That's okay, because I didn't either.
It's a lot. So if we could start there and how that ties into the schools, we can start with that big umbrella.
So I'll make it pretty simple. As you are aware, local school boards, they appoint superintendents that run their school district. So Orange Unified School District here. And then every county has what's called a county office of education. So there's 58 counties, 58 county superintendents. And that superintendent is responsible to oversee all of education in that county. This position was established in 1883. So I'm only the 12th county superintendent since then. Yeah, and so, well, that's the tradition of it. And so every county was established with a superintendent of schools, a county board of supervisors, and a sheriff. And those three heads would run a county. And then, of course, as the years progress and decades progress, it became much bigger than that. But our county office of education, we're responsible to support, provide services and support for all of our schools and our school districts. We have about 650 plus schools in Orange County alone. And so each of those school districts work together, and the county supports all of that.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So student-wise, how many students approximately is that?
That's about 423,000 students in Orange County, which is the third largest school county in California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, from a control aspect of it, how does the department work with the district? So are you all overseeing it and telling the districts what to do?
Great question. So because of what we call local control, we always want the local to have control of different aspects of the communities, especially education. And so school board's responsibility is to control and provide and make decisions for that district. The county is there for three purposes. One is to oversee the operations of that district in terms of fiscal, curriculum, are we abiding by ed code, those things. And then it's also provide services and supports in terms of trainings, workshops, coming in to support one-on-one coaching, consulting, those type of things.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of oversight.
It is a lot of oversight, yes.
Now, with your tenure, I know that you created a strategic plan, I believe around 2024, and that's called the 531 plan.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that is and how that affects the districts and the schools?
Yeah. My background, I graduated USC in '93, and I graduated with an entrepreneurship program, out of the entrepreneurship program. So started my own business and knew a lot about commerce. And what I love about the Orange County Department of Education is that our vision is to lead the nation in college and career. So that means that it is our job as educators to not only teach reading, writing, math, of course, but it's actually also to prepare the future workforce. And so the 5-3-1 strategic plan is, if you look at it, if you just think about a triangle, you've got 5 triangles in the bottom, 3 in the middle, and 1 on top. So that top triangle is students. And all initiatives are all initiatives that support our students with academics and career readiness. So as I talked to a lot of CEOs, I talked to a lot of nonprofits in the past 2 years, and many of them are saying when students graduate high school or college, they're ill prepared to actually hit the workforce. And some of those things, for instance, are, yeah, they may come in with technical skills, but they don't have the soft skills, right? Like the emotional intelligence to collaborate with one another, the interpersonal skills to have a one-on-one meeting. And so that first triangle initiative is, we got to build those soft skills in our kids to get them ready for the workforce. And then other things are like career technical education is very important for all of our students, especially the most vulnerable. And when I say most vulnerable, I mean students with disabilities, foster youth, homeless. They need to have access to career technical education so that they learn about the trades, they learn about career, and can actually hit the workforce whether they graduate high school or college. So the 5-3-1 is basically all about 3 words: jobs, jobs, jobs. We have to prepare our kids for our future jobs.
And I feel like, especially this group, so the Orange Chamber, as you know, we're about business, community, commerce, all of those things. So that's really important to pretty much everyone here.
Yeah.
And I forgot to say this. Dr. Bean is here for you, our guest. And so if you guys have questions, by raise of hand, I'll stop kind of officially after maybe a couple more questions. I hope that start thinking your questions now. But love for you guys to interact and join in with us. Okay, so as far as the priorities, I hear you saying that emotional intelligence is huge. Would you say that's one of the biggest priorities from that initiative to start with?
Yeah, we've got 5 initiatives: emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence, career technical education, school and student safety, of course, and then innovation. And so all of those, we feel, if we can get our students, if we can help districts with all 5 of those things, then we can really help our students engage in the workforce. So yes, building soft skills is where it begins.
Now, you mentioned AI. I know that's one of the hottest topics there is right now.
Yeah.
What role do you see AI playing in education and in preparing for the future?
Well, here's the thing about AI, is that you all use it, I use it, and so we need to help our kids. By the way, I just read research that kids are they're going to use AI anyways, with or without the educator, with or without the teacher. In fact, they learn much more by delving into AI on their own. And so as educators, we need to be at the forefront of that so that we can engage our students to use AI ethically and responsibly. AI is here, it's here to stay, it will replace certain jobs, but the good news is that even though it may replace some jobs, it will create many other jobs. And so our job is to help our students to hone in on those skills. Google just did a survey that employers, 80% of employers would rather hire a student out of college that has AI skills, right, than competent in that trade. So think about this for a second, because if corporations and companies know that we're all using AI, wouldn't we rather have a student that has used AI and understand it? So as a county superintendent of schools, our job at the county office is really to engage our districts in conversation about how do we implement this ethically, how do we set guardrails, and how do we implement it in a way that both teacher and student feel connected with it. Because students are going to do it on their own anyways.
Right. Now, have you found that you've had to change, those districts have been changing curriculum per se, or like how does that?
Yeah,
it's
more about how do they change the approach to pedagogy, which is approach to teaching. It's no longer about the teacher being the center of that classroom. But it's more about students engaging with these tools and in their own discovery learning, and the teacher becomes a facilitator. So if you think about it in business, in corporate America, when you have teammates coming together and you want to noodle on an idea, there's always what's called a master facilitator, a super facilitator,
Right.
who facilitates conversation, and then that team struggles through the problem of practice together. Well, that's the way the future classroom is going to look like, where the teacher is just the super facilitator of student engagement and learning using tools like AI to help them do that critical thinking.
How do you find the educators are adopting that?
There are certainly hurdles, but in the end, another statistic shows that a teacher, if they use AI themselves, will save about 8.2 hours of work that week. So what would you do with another 8 hours of free time?
It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. And so teachers themselves use AI to prepare lessons, to prepare for the day. So why not engage students in using those tools to help with their assignments? We have to just get past this idea that students use AI to cheat. Okay, sure, that may have been in the beginning. Sure, it's easy to have AI write a paper, but then we need to be smarter than that and prompt kids to using AI. Like have it do the research for you. Going in her first year being in law school at USC, they use AI to do the research of case studies, the thousands and thousands of case studies, and the AI will compile that, which saves hours upon hours. So my point is that you can join us if you'd like. No, and so the teachers, yes, there may be hurdles, and there are more political hurdles than anything. Once we get past that, and we do it where the teacher believes in it, and the students feel that the teacher believes in it, then man, it's going to be amazing what we see in the future classroom.
Right, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I would say of the two, which do you find the most difficult between the artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence? Which one do you feel like has the biggest hurdle current current student?
We need to start with, they both actually go hand in hand, but we need to start with developing the EQ in our students, because this generation of students have lots of mental health challenges. A lot from the pandemic, a lot from this thing called the iPhone that we all have. It came out in 2007, and there's been a direct correlation between social media usage and suicide ideation. And so what's happening is that for boys, video game addiction is huge. For girls, social media plays a role into who they become. And so it's challenged our students in ways that we would not have understood in the way that they look at themselves and the way that their identity is in this world. It's caused a lot of mental health challenges. So whereas you and I and all of us grew up in just going out and hanging out and building a social connection, many of our students don't have that because they're behind the screen. And so if we can build those soft skills, interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills, and collaborate with one another, then they will be much more useful workforce. I think we start there. Help with their mental health, help with their collaboration skills, all these 21st century competencies.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned, we have a lot of businesses here in the room. What role can Orange County businesses play in creating career pathways, internships, and other opportunities for these students?
That's a great question. I think the first place to start is realizing that education is not solely the responsibility of the teacher in school. Education is the responsibility of the community, the business, nonprofits, public service, and the educators, all coming together to feed into students so that they're prepared for the future workforce. And so what we as a business community can do is communicate with our local school districts to let them know we support your district. How can we come in to provide support for students? We can come in and provide mentorships. We can come in and provide internships where they'll come in and maybe spend a month with us, or apprenticeships. So Orange County Department of Education, we have received millions of dollars through federal grants that allow us to pay businesses $5,000 for every apprentice they have. And so we have some businesses that have like 4 or 5 apprenticeships.
Wow.
And so they have like, they automatically get $25,000 to support in that. And so the difference between internships and apprenticeships is internships is just a quick exposure to something, temporary. Apprenticeships is actually learning from an apprentice, what do you call that?
Mentor,
Yes, mentor.
subject matter experts.
Exactly, the expert, doing it side by side and learning on the job. And the employer pays them
Okay.
as they're learning because they're contributing back to the company.
Right.
And then eventually, ultimately, at the end of the tenure, we hope that they will get a job in that business. And if it's not, then at least they can find another organization that has that opening. So, Department of Education, or Orange County Department of Education, will support businesses, especially small businesses and large, with finding the student with the potential apprentice job you have.
And how would a business become part of that program to even be considered?
Yeah, just reach out to, you can reach out to me personally.
Okay.
So go to our website, ocde.us, or my email is sbean, that's B as in boy, E-A-N, at ocde.us.
Okay.
And then I will connect you to our, what we call our career education and workforce planning unit. It's about 40 people. Their sole job is to connect businesses with students, businesses with school districts. So we have lots of people that will help with that. Oh yeah, yeah. So it's a resource. I've been around, but the public just doesn't know that it's there.
Great.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Because we have not had OCD here
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah.
So it's great to have this connection and figure out what does your department do? How do we all connect with you in the department and stay involved? Okay, perfect time for questions maybe from people out here. Any questions so far?
Okay, so I think a trend that I'm seeing, I have two boys, 18 and 15, who are still like in this AI world, but they're going very analog, and they're actually telling me to stop using AI so much, or to use it, yes, because they're concerned about the environment and everything that it's having. So how, and I'm sure like the schools are also, because there's, all the kids talk, and they all have similar ideas. How is the district kind of working on that?
Yeah, I think that districts are right now, most districts are in wait and see mode, because we have, with any new technology, there's that balance of how it impacts our environment, right? And so yes, actually, just to run an AI processing center takes so much more energy than even how they power a neighborhood. I think I heard it was, and don't quote me, but I heard like the energy that it would take to power 100,000 houses is what this center would take, right? And so yes, those are the balances and trades. But the question is, with the advancement and acceptance, companies will have to figure out how to be environmental friendly. So I heard one idea was to possibly have these centers out in space, or out, by these islands, right? And so there are many different ways to attack that problem. But here's the thing in education: just because we're faced with a problem doesn't mean that we just give up on that. And so we need to come together as adults, both sides of the aisle, and figure out ways to make it more environmental friendly. And yes, this generation of students has become much more socially and environmentally conscious about the world around them. And I think that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And there's a trade-off. We don't want our kids to be behind the curve, right? Or the black, or what do you call that? The curve or whatever. We want them, so here I am, by the way, I'm an English learner. Came over from Vietnam when I was 4, and it took until 6th grade to learn English. So I'm still learning those idioms. But the thing is that we have choice as adults. We can develop our students and prepare them for a future that includes AI, or we can take it very slow, which most of our districts are doing right now. But a non-option would be just to completely forget about AI. That's a non-option. So it's either how do we do it carefully and slowly, or how do we just move forward. And as county office of education, we want to support our districts to do it slowly, methodically, and thoughtfully.
That's a great question, Abby. Anyone else? Question?
I have one. How do you feel about no cell bell to bell?
No,
Are you no cell bell to bell? I know LA school district
Yeah.
just passed.
Yeah, I feel actually that kids should not have their cell phones in schools. We actually run our own 31 sites of 3,000 students ourselves, the most vulnerable in our community. The students that get kicked out of regular school districts, or are incarcerated, or transitioning from foster homes or whatever, we directly educate those students. And so we have policy, no cell phones. We actually check those cell phones the moment they come on campus. I 100% believe in that. And why? Because when they're in school, they need to be interacting with one another, building those soft skills, and with the teacher, versus picking up the phone and going on social media.
Do you think Orange Unified will ever come
That's a
to?
good question. You know, that's an example again of local control. Every district has that opportunity to decide that policy. What we can do is, if there's inquiries and questions about the legality of that, they can come to our county office. We have a legal team of 5 attorneys that can support a district around those issues. So we've supported districts around the cell phone issue policy, around e-bikes, right? Which I believe Orange Unified just banned for minors or for younger kids. And so we're there to support those kinds of issues. We ourselves take a position on it for our students, but we don't take a position on it for their students. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We just guide them. Good question.
I knew you would have good questions. Anyone else?
Thank you for coming. This is very interesting. I'm thinking to myself that in order to be able to gain the support of the community, which you would like to have that close partnership with,
Yeah.
I like the statistics you shared.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking that along those lines, when you share those type of statistics, you're directing your decisions. Fantastic. But in order for us to be able to feel good about this, is that there has to be some kind of a change management plan
Yes.
that I'm kind of then going to engage accordingly. So that's what I don't hear at this point in time, and I'd love it, so that the dashboard of some type that you have could be shared with the community, so we somehow can engage accordingly at the right speed, right? Because I think a lot of us are thinking these things, and we just are curious, and we are very encouraged that you're looking at this from a statistical perspective, because you know how data goes.
Yeah.
I mean, once you start seeing the data, you just start leaning,
Mm.
and you start going, oh, I love that district, the superintendent's education. So anyway, wanted to just kind of see what your change management plan was.
Yeah, change management is very interesting in every organization I've gone into. Read a book called Switch, and in that book, the authors describe how a rider rides an elephant. And an elephant will only go where the rider tells it to go if the elephant makes a head connection with the rider, a heart connection, and then knows that there's a pathway forward, right? And so change management, you give the head data, but you also have to share with the community the heart connection, which is, let's use mental health as an example. Suicide ideation, 1 out of 8 students have considered suicide. Imagine if that was your child, right? Or just in this room. If 1 of 8 of us were considering suicide, isn't that a crisis? So that's the emotional piece, right? You use the data piece, the 1 out of 8, but then you hit the hearts of people. And so I think what we're doing at California, or Orange County Department of Education, is showing people that these are the lives of kids. You know, when we talk about the most vulnerable, we have over 80,000 most vulnerable students still to whether they're homeless, whether they're students with disabilities, to care for. And we can't forget about that. And I don't think any of us here would want to forget that. Or if we talk about unemployment is 5 times greater for a student with disability than for the rest of us. And so as employers, couldn't we find a job that would help those who are neurodivergent because they're really good with visualization, right? I challenged the sheriff that the other day, and our good friends, and I said, Sheriff, you have these command centers where you're looking at all these screens. We thought about hiring more neurodivergent students to be able to help with that, right, visually. And so the point with change management is that you help the community to see that they can make a difference. The data is here, businesses can make a difference, and then have a plan for it.
So when are you sharing this plan?
Great question. So we do that through the 5-3-1 strategic plan, and every year we have a state of education, state of county education address that I have. And by last year we had public officials, the who's who of Orange County. And so this year, my assistant Carlos is working on getting all of our different commerce in that room to really engage in these conversations together. And I'm starting to get this reputation that it doesn't matter if you're conservative, progressive, Republican, Democrat, we all can get to the table and have common ground. And our biggest common ground are our kids. That is the future of our county.
Yes.
And so if we do things with that in mind, we're going to come to common ground on a lot of things, just with different perspectives. And that's okay.
I just look at the challenges that you all have,
Yeah.
with the fact that we now have ADHD, EQ, social responsibility, sustainability. It's a large palette you have in front of you. And how do you compensate the teachers accordingly? It just seems like a crazy ask.
Well, I was a teacher, so I would say I went through the credential program thinking that it was just to teach reading, writing, math. But now our teachers, so much are put on them. They have to be counselors sometimes. They have to be disciplinarians sometimes. Just even parenting of parents, they have to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So the best thing I can say is to continue supporting our teachers. I would say that if our teacher unions focus on supporting all of the nuance and facets of what we just serve our teachers, then we're going to build more emotionally connected teachers. Do it through pay, do it through setting up a good culture, do it through environment, do it through giving teachers the resources they need.
Have you ever thought about the term people maturation?
Yeah.
I bring this up because in my work, we talk about data maturity.
Yeah.
We talk about disaster recovery maturity. We talk about all of these things. And I think to myself, have we ever discussed people maturity? That we really, as people, we want to be able to socially move towards this direction. We have maturity levels we've identified for data, right? We take care of data, we're low here. Change management maturity, we're not doing really good in that area, so we have a plan to fix it there. But we don't think about people.
It's fascinating. Or resiliency and building, even EQ in our teachers to be able to be resilient to all these challenges. But maturity is interesting. I'll have to look at that.
Rally, we can all rally together because, Rebecca brought up a really good point earlier about just parents who just simply sit there and say, I appreciate what you just said, but I'm gonna go over your head,
Yeah.
okay? And
Yeah.
then we have a cluster,
Yeah.
right? We're not getting anything done. And how do you work on that kind of, those blockers that I think are very critical? We need to have parents backing you up, there for your data, your position to be strong.
Yeah, not
I'm
just
sorry.
parents, but our community.
I
That's
love
what you guys,
You're totally good.
but also community, that's where you guys come into play, to accomplish something.
I do want to ask you for another time about
Yes.
journey. As you probably noticed, I have
Oh,
here.
yep.
Halfway through, so Dr. Bean has written Pick Up, Lifted to Lead. It is a great book,
Thank
a
you.
great read.
Thank you.
I intend to finish it in the next couple days, but I want to know how that shaped your journey, like how your beginning shaped where you are today.
Yeah. When we think about leadership, oftentimes we think about this very strong individual who's climbed the corporate ladder and oversees the organization. What Lifted to Lead is really about is leaders' job is really to lift others. And so if you think about this corporate ladder, a true leader is the one holding that ladder at the base, so others actually get up that ladder to where they need to go. And I can only say that from example because I was born in Vietnam in '71, contracted polio, abandoned on the streets of Saigon, literally by my mother, and then brought in to an orphanage. Came over in '75, where the United States lifted me lifted 3,000 of us out of this war-torn country to be placed in foster homes and adopted homes. Then I share about examples of when I was placed in our foster home with the Beans, who later adopted me. My mom lifted me through the challenges that I had. She cared for and had so much love and compassion that they took in over 100 to foster youth while I was there. And so from there, my dad lifted me by having me prioritize education because he was a teacher. And then I talk about we can all think about that one teacher, one mentor that lifted us and changed the trajectory of our life. So all of these examples that I share in this book is really about others lifting me to be in this position that I am, which is only 12th County Superintendent of Schools in Orange County. And that was not because of me, but that was because of all these people along the way. And so in the book, I encourage us as all leaders to do the same.
Right.
If we're gonna raise the next future workforce leaders of our county, we should come alongside our students. And I talk about I'll tell this quick story. In high school, I had a classroom on the second floor, and there's no elevator. So every morning I roll up to the base of that stairwell, or stairs, and there would be 4 of my friends waiting to lift me out of those stairs. And so they did that every morning. And once I asked them, I said, why are you lifting me up the stairs every day? And they go, Stefan, we don't feel sorry for you. We don't pity you. We lifted you up those stairs because we wanted you to get where we're going. And so I use that analogy a lot with our business community, our nonprofits, is that if we want to lift our kids through those barriers and hurdles, we each in our own roles and responsibilities must come alongside our kids and lift them up. And that's how we're going to get them to an incredible future that we have in front of us.
What I'd like to do is I'll do one more question and then do some quick announcements.
Okay.
If you have time, I know people want to talk to you personally,
Sure.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So my last question for you officially is, what is one way business leaders can get involved today? So what can we do today to be involved in this process that we started here?
Yeah, I love it. Reach out to Orange County Department of Education. We can connect you with internship programs, mentorships, apprenticeships. If you're a small business and you need some support with marketing, bring in an apprenticeship. Get paid for it, right? So connect with us. The other thing is connect with districts. They're always looking for sponsorships, they're always looking for support, so it's easy to do that. But,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
I'll do some quick announcements,
Yep.
and then we will close and I'll let everyone chat with you. So a couple announcements we have for, as we're now in September, pretty much. So in September, we have our business networking group on the first Wednesday, so that's on the first. Guest is Russ Ward Auto Body. On the third, we have a community presentation of the ballot measures at City Hall. Happy Mob on the 8th. We have a ribbon cutting with his OC, their 1-year anniversary on the 9th. Latinos in Business Mixer also on the 9th. Downtown Merchants Meeting, which is quite large at this point. On the 10th, e-waste recycling, if you need your e-waste on the 12th and 13th. Ambassador meeting on the 15th. Orientation for new members and ambassadors on the 16th. Then we have exhibitions back here on the 22nd with Assembly Member Alan of Valencia, which is really exciting, his second time with us. Ribbon cutting on the 23rd. We have our mixer at the Women's Club on the 29th of September. And finally, a ribbon cutting with Orangewood Medical Clinic on the 30th. So make sure you're following the Chamber on social media. That's the best way. Social media, we have our website. So follow us there. As always, we have to give a special thanks to Orange Cafe. As well, our chairman, circle sponsors, board of directors, members, and staff. We would not be here without all of you. Dr. Bean, thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure being here and chat with you. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you.